Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a what's for dinner video to share with you today. We've got 3 quick and easy recipes. I am doing my intro after the fact. I'm actually out of town when I'm filming this because I'm working on the editing and I never did an intro. I also wanted to mention that today's video is in collaboration with my sweet friend Jess. Her channel is Jess and the Boys. She's a sweet wife and a mother of 2 precious boys. She homeschools. She shares like day in the life and grocery hauls and recipes, really good recipes. Sorry for the noises, not in my normal spot. Anyway, so I will have her channel linked for you down in my description box and her video, so make sure you check that out and subscribe to her. Let her know that I sent you, and without anything further, let's get into these quick and easy recipes. For tonight, we are going to be having some baked chicken cordon bleu, and so I'm going to start by mixing up the coating that we're going to be needing. I am cutting the recipe that I'm following in half because I'm just going to be making 2 pieces of chicken. The recipe calls for chicken thighs. We're going to be having using chicken breasts. I need a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, and then I need like an 1/8 cup of Parmesan cheese. This is some that I grated myself, so I don't know. I'm just using my 1/8 cup and filling it halfway. And then I need the same amount of flour. I don't want to stick my measuring cup in there since I had some cheese residue. I don't want to spoil my flour. And then about a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. I'm looking at this trying to decide if I think this is enough for 2 chicken breasts, and I don't think it is. So I'm gonna make the full amount. We'll find out together if I'm wrong about that, but the recipe is for 8 chicken thighs. I'm doing 2 chicken breasts, but they're pretty big, and that just didn't look like enough to coat both sides of 2 chicken breasts, so. All right, we're just gonna set this to the side. I'm also gonna crack 1 egg and put that in a bowl as well, and then we're gonna get to the chicken. All right, so I took my chicken and I did kind of cut them in half. It's not as pretty as I would have liked, but the shape and size of them, that's how it worked out. I am wearing plastic gloves because I just don't like all the nit and grit of raw meat under my fingernails. Before I touch that, we're going to season the chicken. Again, the recipe calls for chicken thighs, but I'm just doing chicken breasts. And I'm just seasoning with some salt. And then I'm going to put some ham. I'm using this thicker cut ham because I had some left over in the fridge, but you can also just use like lunch meat. And then I'm using Monterey Jack cheese. You're supposed to use Swiss cheese. And I always forget that, and I never have that. Doesn't matter, right? Do it how you want. Do it with what you got and what you like. And then you want to close up your chicken. And it does say to use some toothpicks, which I am going to use, but I feel like I want to wait till I dip them because, I don't know, I feel like the toothpicks are going to make that hard. So I've already got my assembly line. I've got my egg, my breadcrumb cheese mixture, my greased pan right here. So we're going to dip in the egg. Probably should take the utensils out of here, but whatever. It is trying to fall apart on me, but I think I can do it. The breading, maybe at this point I'll stick the toothpicks in. I'm gonna use 2 here. See, it's kind of hard to flip it over when you got these toothpicks, but. Okay, try it with the second one. I'm not promising this is the most graceful way of doing this, but the job is gonna get done. And that's what matters. See, even that, I just made a mess there. I'm gonna take some more of that coating and just put it over the top so that we don't waste it and we get everything covered good. Okay, that worked pretty good. We're gonna bake this in the oven at 350 for about 35 minutes. All right, so we're gonna make our sauce for the chicken. I've got 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to whisk in 2 tablespoons of flour, and we're just going to let that whisk that and let that cook for a minute or 2. Okay, now I'm going to whisk in 1 cup of milk. We're also going to add in 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. Gonna add in about 2 tablespoons of mustard. Sorry, totally blocking the camera there. Calls for Dijon. All I had was yellow mustard or spicy, and I feel like spicy is not quite Dijon. I don't know. I used the yellow. And then 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. And we're going to whisk this together and let it go for a few minutes. I'm gonna actually move this back to the back burner so that I can cook the other side here. And I'm just gonna keep stirring this and let that thicken up. All right, so in this large skillet, we're gonna just make some riced cauliflower to go with this. It is frozen, and all I do is, well, try to open it. That's the first thing. It's gonna sizzle quite a bit because there's a lot of moisture in that because it's frozen. I don't put any oil or butter in because there's just so much moisture, and I tried to break it up a little bit beforehand, but I'll just keep tossing this and let this break up. And we're just gonna do it like that. We'll probably butter and salt it, but you can also season it with like garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of butter if you want. So yeah, it's really easy. It's easier if it's not a solid brick, but it's still easy. I tried throwing it on the counter to break it up, but it didn't work that great. I did the chicken for another couple minutes just till the meat thermometer said it was done, just because these are pretty big. But the chicken is done. This is about how the sauce came out, and our riced cauliflower. We're gonna serve it up. It's a very light colored meal, but at least my plate is green. There is our dinner for tonight. Don't forget to take your toothpicks out. All right, so I was not going with a meal plan because it's just kind of an odd week for us. So I had to come up with something. This is what we're doing. I'm gonna spray my pan. I'm gonna use this coconut and avocado with safflower blend. This has a higher heat. So, and I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. So I've not had a problem using olive oil, but that spray always says like 350. So I've got this chicken from Aldi. They're individually frozen. They're not my most favorite thing in the world because they're not all the same size. Like some pieces are like that. It's like a little chicken tender, but this is pretty convenient to do. So I'm gonna find a couple bigger ones. This is a great way to cook chicken that is like already frozen. So I'm just gonna cover this up. We're gonna cook it at 400 degrees for 20 minutes covered, and then we'll take it out, we'll season it, and then we will finish cooking it. All right, so 20 minutes, we're just gonna pull the foil off. I'm gonna clean up the little bit of fat that's kind of cooked off real quick. I'm just gonna scoop that out with a spoon. All right, I've cleaned up the fat. If you notice the lights changing drastically, it's because I have a couple lights that are out and Jesse's in the middle of replacing them. And I don't understand fancy light bulbs these days, but you can choose the brightness on the light bulb by a switch. Anyway, he's messing with that right now, so we got all different lighting happening. Going to season these with some salt, garlic powder. That was actually onion powder. This is garlic powder. And I'm just gonna flip these over. Oh, it's getting real dark in here. And then I'm gonna top with a little bit of barbecue sauce. I got this one from Aldi. This is one of their seasonal barbecue sauces. It's not one they have all year round. All right, we're gonna pop this back in the oven for about 15 minutes or until the chicken breasts are done. So as you can see, it does not take very long. It will be moist. I've done this before and it's not dried out cooking the frozen chicken breasts. And of course you can season it however you want. You could even just put like taco seasoning on it and then chop it up and use it that way, but we're just gonna do this. Super, super easy dinner. Chicken came out great. I just made some Annie's mac and cheese and cut up some cucumbers and carrots that were left in the fridge. We had more than this. My husband's been snacking. He's got some ranch. I got my homemade ranch dip. That's it. That's for dinner tonight. Okay, so we're going for another really easy dinner. We're gonna do breakfast for dinner. We're gonna have some pancakes. I will have this recipe linked below. I believe I've used it before and really liked it. It also gives a lot of tips and tricks if you struggle with pancakes, but we're gonna start with 1.5 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I was just double checking that because that seems like a lot, but they are light and fluffy pancakes. So also gonna add in 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna whisk that together. We've got 1.25 cups of milk and 1 egg. Now we're gonna add in 4 tablespoons of melted butter. It does say that the batter will be slightly lumpy, so don't worry about that. And then it also says that it's good to let the batter rest for 10 minutes and it will thicken a little bit, so I'm going to do that. I almost forgot we're going to make these strawberry pancakes because I had some strawberries in the fridge that needed to be used up. So we're just gonna make, you know, it's gonna be as strawberry as I had lying around. And I'm just going to gently fold that in. Okay, now we're gonna let that rest for 10 minutes. My little tip, maybe it's not a new tip, but whenever I'm making pancakes or French toast, what I do is preheat my oven to the lowest setting, which my oven it's 170, and I'll just, as I make them, I put them in a baking dish in the oven to help keep them warm. That way everything can be warm when we're ready to eat, and yeah, so that's what I did, and they came out great. I cooked up some breakfast sausage and made some scrambled eggs, and there we go. Quick and easy dinner or breakfast, but we're having it for dinner. All right, so sorry for the kind of odd intros and outros for this cooking video, but I hope you enjoyed these recipes. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new, and don't forget to check out Jess's channel. I will have that linked for you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.